What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Life After Lockup Season 6, Episode 18, Karma's Coming. Let's talk about JK and Brooke. Now, remember last week's episode, JK just found out from his dad, his biological dad, that Alex is pregnant. And the reason that the dad knows is because Alex and JK's father are still really close. And so I guess Alex confides in JK's father everything that's going on with her. So his dad tells him that Alex is pregnant. He has seen her with his own eyeballs, and she is definitely pregnant. So JK hot tells it over to Alex's house. In his confessional, he tells us that yes, he did have sex with Alex, but he had sex with her months ago. But then they show us a clip of him sneaking into Alex's house and taking his microphone off. And that happened just 8 weeks ago, not months ago. So I guess the show wants us to assume that when he was sneaking in her house 8 weeks ago, they got it on and popping. But really, the truth of the matter is, he probably has been with her ever since he came out of prison. So he admits that he did cheat on Brooke. And the reason why he cheated on Brooke was because he was unhappy. So I guess he goes to Alex to find happiness when he can't deal with Brooke anymore. So she didn't tell him about her pregnancy. Alex didn't tell him about her pregnancy because she said that when she had her miscarriage, he was not there for her. So why would she tell him about this pregnancy? Which to me, that didn't make any sense. Like when you're like, what does that mean he wasn't there for you? When you were going through the miscarriage, you called him and he just hung up on you? Or after the miscarriage, you called him and said, hey, this is what happened, and he didn't bother to come over to check on you? Like, what exactly does that mean that he wasn't there for you during your miscarriage? So the miscarriage baby, she confirms, was definitely JK's baby. She claims that she is pregnant with JK now, or JK's baby now, or she's pregnant now. And so this man has gotten her pregnant at least twice. Well, not at least, he's gotten her pregnant twice, at least once since he's been out from prison. The one that wants to have his baby, ain't nothing going on there. Brooke did not get pregnant by JK. But the one that he's not supposed to be with because he's in a relationship with Brooke, she ends up getting pregnant possibly twice by him. So she shows him the ultrasound pictures. They look at the dates. He tries to do the calculations in his head, but he really can't. And so she tells him, I got pregnant around October. So I guess he remembers being with her sometime around in October, because then he asks her, what is the probability, or what are the chances of me being the father of your child? And Alex tells him 50-50. Y'all, when she said 50-50, I was like, I'm done. Alex, I'm so done with you. I can't believe nothing that you say anymore. Because I really thought she was going to say, oh, I'm 100% sure that you're the father. Or at least be cute about it and say 99.9999% positive that you're the father of my child. But no, she comes out with 50-50 because she says that she was with one other person around the time that she was with JK. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, this is bogus. I don't have time for you, Alex. I really don't. I thought that you were for sure, that you know what you were doing. The way you talk about JK and how y'all will always have this bond together no matter what. You act like, this is the only dude that you want to be with. He's always coming back to you or always letting him in. So I'm thinking that, this is the only one that you're messing with. But you said 50-50. So if it's 50-50, as far as I'm concerned, it could be 30-30-30. It could be 25-25, 25-25. Now it's like anybody can be the father of your child, Alex. I really wanted you to like really put it on him and say, oh, there is no possibility that anybody else can be the father. It is you, JK. It is you 100%, 1,000%. It is you. But she said 50-50. So I was through. So while JK and Alex are talking in front of her house, Brooke is blowing up JK's phone. And where is Brooke, you might ask? Where she's always is, on the road, on the way to some man and away from her children. So she is on the road looking for JK, trying to figure out why he's not answering his phone. She says this man stays with the phone in his hand. So she knows for sure that he's ignoring her when he sees her call. So this is just really fueling the fire for her. So she's on her way to go find JK wherever he may be. So Alex tells JK that no matter what, her and JK will always have a bond together. No matter if they're with other people or not, there will always be a bond between her and JK that is just unbreakable. They're just, it for each other, as far as, like being each other's person, but not being able to really be together. And it's true. It's definitely true. Alex does have a hold on JK. with all the stuff that she did while he was away in prison by cheating on him and being with other men and whatnot, he is still very much hooked on Alex. JK says that the reason why he wasn't there for her during her miscarriage was because he didn't have proof that she was having a miscarriage. Alex says that the miscarriage baby was definitely JK's. I don't know. I don't know whether or not to believe you, Brooke. I mean, Alex. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. You saying that the first baby was definitely his, and now you're telling us that you are with other people, so who the hell knows? Alex just wants JK to leave her the hell alone because she's tired of the back and forth. Um, I'm not even really clear if Alex wants to be with JK like that. I don't even know. But she definitely wants him to stop coming around, stop, dragging her back in when he is definitely dealing with somebody else. She wants that to stop because she's sick and tired of having to fight his women, like Brooke. She's tired of all of that. So she just wants JK to leave her the hell alone. JK wonders what would have happened if Alex had never cheated on him and Alex were able to actually be together. That basically tells me that his heart is definitely with Alex. For him to be fantasizing about what life would be like if they were still together, that makes me think that I think he still has very strong feelings towards Alex. I think Alex is easy for JK. What I mean by that is life with Alex is easier for JK than life with Brooke. Brooke is high strung. Brooke is jealous. She's insecure. She's a firecracker. And I think it's just a lot more chill with Alex. But I don't know, maybe because of the lack of trust, he doesn't want to be back with Alex like 100%. Maybe she doesn't want to be back with him 100%. I'm not really sure. But, or maybe is it because he feels like, I'm already so deeply involved with Brooke. There's no way that I can leave her and go back to Alex without any kind of repercussion. I don't really know why he just doesn't stay with Alex. And Alex said that there will always be a bond between us. So I don't know why they're constantly having babies. He's constantly knocking her up, and that's not even his woman. So I don't know why he doesn't just break up with Brooke and go back to Alex. And how can you expect someone to wait for you for years? You know, um, that really wasn't fair. Obviously, they should have broken up when he went to prison. But is it really fair for him to expect Alex just to sit back and wait? Now, Brooke would have waited. He can get a life sentence and Brooke will still wait. Moving on to Bianca and Daniel. So during his confessional, Bianca calls Daniel. Now they've officially broken up because we saw them at the restaurant last week where he basically told her, it's over, it's done, I don't want you, leave me alone. I lived with you, I got a taste of what you're like, and I don't like it. So it's over. The only issue was who's going to keep the apartment. So during his confessional, Bianca calls him and tells him that she found out that he was cheating with multiple women the whole entire time that he was with her. She went into his computer, found some evidence of him communicating with other women, and she's calling him all kinds of names, saying that he's trash, he's garbage, he's this, he's that, because he was cheating on her the whole entire time. He had no intentions of, committing his life to her. And Daniel was like, yeah, I sure did. Okay. Yeah, I did. Great. I'm glad you found out. Wonderful. He has a few choice words for her. She has a few choice words for him. And he says that he's been done with her since day 2. He was done with her. Bianca actually goes back to Florida. I think they switched the apartment over under his name. So she goes back to Florida. She's living with her mom. And I realized that her and Daniel couldn't even stay together long enough to do a confessional together. Now, a lot of the times when couples are doing a confessional side by side and they're sitting right next to each other, most likely they're still together. But I noticed how Will and Courtney, who seem to not be together anymore, they did a confessional together, sitting side by side. But Bianca and Daniel couldn't even stick around each other long enough to do that, to have a confessional together. So she's back at home with Florida. She's back at home in Florida. And I saw on Instagram that she has moved on to another man, that she is definitely pregnant. She's expecting a baby girl. There's all kinds of photos of her, I think, on her page with her and her new boo and her baby bump. Unfortunately, Daniel ends up back in jail for failing a drug and alcohol test. That is really sad because I thought I was rooting for Daniel, but he was spiraling fast because the Daniel that we met when he was released from prison is completely different from the Daniel that we ended up with. He spiraled. He became mean and aggressive and just like a horrible person. I understand that Bianca is a lot, but I don't think she deserved that kind of vitriol that he was unleashing on her. Not at all. So unfortunately, he's back in jail, and I think he got like a 6 month sentence. So I don't know. All we can do is just hope for the best for Danny Boy. Moving on to the sister wives of Life After Lockup, Demardrick, Kiana, and Joella. So Demardrick is very shocked that Joella would think that he had anything to do with the slashing of her tires because of the security cameras and what they caught the day that her tires got slashed that particular night. He was going in and out of her house, of Joella's house, because he was at Joella's house when the tires got slashed. So she's very suspicious of that. Joella said that she's not dropping any charges until she gets to the bottom of what the hell happened to her car and who did it. So while leaving Demardrick and Kiana's house, Joella gets stopped by the police. They run her information, and they basically just gave her 2 tickets for having expired tags, but she had some previous issues that they thought were not taken care of. And she had to explain to them that the charges were, I don't know what was going on, something in the past. She said that she got caught driving on a suspended license. So she had got arrested and she did time served. So she kind of has like a little bit of a history herself. Now, this is going to come up later on in the episode. Kiana hires a private investigator to investigate Joella's accusations. Like, basically, I guess what the private investigator is supposed to do is to figure out where is Joella coming up with this information that it was Kiana that slashed her tires. Um, I didn't really understand the purpose of this investigator. The private investigator goes over to Joella's house and he wants to know, well, why do you think this happened? Why do you think she did? Why do you think it's her? Why are you pinning this on my client, Kiana? And Joella says, because I didn't have any of these issues until Demardrick came out of prison. And because she's dealing with Demardrick and Demardrick is going back and forth between us, who else could it possibly be? She's got an issue with me because her man, she can't keep her man at home. He's always coming over to my house. So who else could it possibly be? Didn't have any kind of drama until that man came out of prison. So the private investigator also tries to get her to drop the charges. And she's kind of like, well, what the hell is in it for me to drop the charges? And he says, well, you're not going to have to worry about this anymore. And I was like, what? She wants to worry about this. She wants these kind of problems. She wants to pursue these charges. Like, what are you talking about? So she tells the private investigator, no, Kiana is not going to have nothing to worry about if I drop the charges. And so he gives her a piece of paper to sign, and it is a affidavit of non-prosecution. What the hell is that? I guess it's a promise for her to not pursue these charges. It's a promise for her to drop the charges. But once again, why would she do that? If she believes in her mind that it was Kiana that did this, and there's an arrest warrant out for her, and there's all these things happening too, like what is her incentive to now be like, oh, I've changed my mind, I'm not going to pursue this anymore? Like, what would be her incentive to do that? What is she going to get out of it? So she tells the private investigator, I'll consider it. Now when Joella says I'll consider, don't fall for it. Don't fall for the okie doke, because that's what she told Demardrick when he offered to reimburse her the money for the tires, which she dropped the charges if he reimbursed her. And she's, well, I'll think about it. She took that money and ran and did not drop the charges. So now she tells the PI, oh, I'll think about it. No, don't believe her. Don't believe her. She will not drop a damn thing. Okay. So she tells the PI that if you want me to sign this affidavit, I need to have a meeting with Kiana, and she needs to pay for the cosmetics that were destroyed um, in her car when her car got vandalized. So we'll see if that happens. Kiana made an offer, but once again, what would she get out of it? Like, I don't understand why Kiana thought this was going to work. Like, she's coming after you hard. But you're like, no, you need to drop these charges. For what? Why would she do that though? What is she getting out of it? That's what I was confused about. So she says, "Hey, I want to have a meeting with her, and then I'll think about it." And she's got to pay for my cosmetics that were destroyed that day. So we'll see what happens. Moving on to Justine and Michael. So they're in New York because they want to have their wedding in New York, and so they're in New York and they're looking at venues. And before they go see the venue at the hotel, Justine's mom actually comes to see her. So, okay, that's fine. That was wonderful that she did that because she acted like, she was going to have to pencil her in, her own daughter, while she came up there to visit. So she said that, so her mother comes to see her, and Justine tells us that her mother's wedding was $100,000. $100,000. And she said that her mom paid for her own wedding. Hmm? I was kind of like, your mom paid for her own wedding. She had $100,000 to spend on a 1 day event. Your mom did? Like, what the hell does your mom do for a living? I could have sworn Justine said that her mom paid for her own wedding and her wedding cost $100,000. But anyway, that's where Justine gets her, I guess, her need to also have a very expensive wedding. So they go check out wedding venues, and the wedding venue that they go check out is a very high end, top tier, luxurious location. It's a very, very nice venue, very nice venue. And it was Michael's dad that chose this venue. And Michael tells us that his dad has extremely expensive taste. So, of course, he's going to choose a venue like this. So, it's going to run them about $40,000 minimum at this venue. And while they're all talking about it at dinner, Mike gets like, he's stressed out, right? He's very stressed out, and he talks about how he's got information that he's been keeping from Justine, and if Justine finds out, she's not going to be happy. It's got something to do with finances, I'm thinking. So minimum 40K just for the venue. And then at dinner, they talked about all the other things that are going to be added on, of course. You're going to have to pay for the DJ, the photographers. You also have to tip everybody. So all this stuff stresses him out. And so Justine is like, well, I'll pay for my portion. And Michael is like, what? What do you mean? This is like our wedding. What do you mean you're going to pay for your portion? Oh, I'll pay for my dress. I'll pay for my dress, and I'll pay for, my family. He gets so upset he walks up and he leaves. I don't know what else to say. To me, it's ridiculous. And the reason why I think it's ridiculous is because I am a pessimist. I'm a pessimist at heart. I don't think weddings, unless you really got the money to throw away. If you're stressing about a wedding budget, maybe you need to go to the courthouse, because the people that should be having $60,000, $100,000 weddings are the people that don't stress about the budget. They're like, whatever, just put it on my card. Whatever, put it on my card. Those are the people that need to be having $60,000 weddings. If you're penny pinching, okay, if you're penny pinching and you're trying so hard to stay within budget and you're sacrificing, well, okay, I'll do without this so I can have that. Oh, don't forget the flowers too, okay? You got to factor in the flowers. You shouldn't be having a $60,000 wedding. And I think what, like I said, if you've got the money to throw away, have the biggest, most expensive wedding that you can possibly dream of. Otherwise, it ain't about the wedding. It's about the marriage. Because what is the point of spending so much money on this and then you get divorced 5 years later? You know what I mean? It's like, it's about the marriage. I want to have a nice house. I'd rather 60K go to a beautiful home, go into my children's college fund, go for a very nice honeymoon. Now, I don't have a problem spending a pretty penny on a nice honeymoon because I love to travel. A nice honeymoon, I'd rather put my money in there, put the money away in our savings account so that we can go and travel even more after we're married. That's what I would want to spend my money on, not 60K for a 1 day event. That, yes, you're going to remember, you're going to have wonderful memories, and you're going to have beautiful pictures. But the people that you're spending this money for, your guests, they're not going to remember any of this. They're not going to give a damn. When people spend like a bunch of money on very, 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 very expensive wedding invitations, like literally, who keeps expensive wedding invitations? Who keeps that? Maybe if they can be like a keepsake, maybe I can see people wanting to keep it if it's something that you can use to decorate your home with. Like if it's like, but normally people are spending a lot of money on invitations, and I feel like once the wedding is over, people just chunk that in the garbage, right? I don't know. I don't get it, y'all. I'm cheap. I'm pessimistic. I'm a negative Nancy. So I am not a ball of sunshine. When it comes to stuff like this, I just don't understand. I don't get it. Unless you have the money to throw away. You can spend 60K without blinking an eye. It don't matter to you. It's like whatever the budget is, we're going to get whatever we want, however we want, because we've got the money for it. Then go for it. But if you don't have the money and you got a penny pinch, I don't get it. Plus, you got like a baseball team of children to take care of. But hey, they're not going into my bank account to pay for this, so I shouldn't worry too much about it. Moving on from there, let's talk about Leticia and Keith. So Keith's son, Damari, I think his name is, he's been staying with Keith. Now, Keith's father, I think, has custody of Damari, but he's been staying with Keith and Leticia for a couple of days. We see Damari playing with Leticia's youngest daughter. It seems like one big happy Brady Bunch family. Leticia's court date for her, what was it? Theft of services or something? Her court date is coming up. One of her clients had filed criminal charges against her for taking their money and not providing a service, I guess. I don't know. And so she's very stressed out about this court date. She says that she's facing 15 years. We know she's not going to get no 15 years, but she says she's facing 15 years. And so she questions if Keith would wait for her while if she gets incarcerated, if she ends up getting incarcerated. No, I don't think he would. He just came out of prison. Now, mm-mm, no, I don't think he would. He just came out of prison. He's been without a woman for however many years. Now he finally gets, the taste of a woman. And now that woman is going into prison. Now you're going to deprive him again. Ain't no way he's going to wait. Then she thinks about her children, like what's going to happen with her kids, her two daughters, if she has to go to prison. And I'm like, well, won't Keith take the youngest? Because you had that little girl calling him daddy. You had that little girl believing Keith was her daddy when he really wasn't. So wouldn't you let Keith take the little one? The next time that we see Leticia, she's in a cafe working remotely. She used to have a whole entire office, an entire team of people working for her. Now she's been delegated to the corner cafe in her laptop. And that's where she does her work. And she says that she's glad she downsized. She didn't need all that space and she didn't need all those damn people. Leticia has really, really lost it all. She has really fallen on some really hard times. So she gets a call from her attorney and she goes outside to talk to her attorney. And whatever news her attorney gave her over the phone, she tells production to get the hell away. She's done filming. So who knows what happened to that? We'll find out next week what that call was all about. Moving on from there, we have Troy and Zaria. So Troy finally got to be with his daughter. The daughter came to his father's memorial, which was really sweet. Troy got very emotional talking about his dad. He loved his dad a lot. Plus, he carries a lot of guilt that he couldn't live right. And his father ended up passing away while he was in prison. And his father really wanted him to do better. His father wanted him to do good. And he feels guilty that he never listened to his dad. And now it's all too late. So he's like really grieving his dad. His dad was cremated. So while he's giving this speech, he takes the ashes and like he not necessarily pours all the ashes on himself, but like he covers himself in his dad's ashes. So that, he's like, oh, my dad will always be with me as he's like, you know, covering himself with his dad's ashes. Zaria does end up showing up to the memorial. And as soon as she got there, she pulls him to the side and she's got, I got something to tell you. And he goes, what, you're pregnant? And he guessed right. And she is pregnant. So I don't have a problem with, you know what? I, mm, yeah, I don't really have a problem with Zaria and Troy having a baby because they're locked in. They seem to be pretty much locked in, unless y'all heard something that I haven't heard yet. But they seem to be pretty locked into each other. They're locked into their toxicity. They're locked into their possessiveness. They're locked into their obsession with each other. They're pretty much locked in. Don't nobody want either one of them but each other. So great for them. She's pregnant with his baby. He was so happy. He gave her a hug. He began apologizing to her, like, I'm so sorry for anything that I would have done or could have done in the past to, break your heart. I'm so sorry, Zariah. I love you. Blah, blah, blah. So he's very happy that they're going to be having a baby. And then he goes and he spreads his father's ashes over the water. And as he does so, he is just letting out all of the grief and the emotions that he's been holding in from his father passing away. And it was really, really sad to watch how much he was grieving his dad and feeling like, he didn't follow through with what his dad wanted him to do before his dad passed away, because you just want to make your parents proud of you. And he wasn't able to do that because he was in prison when his dad died. But, his dad knows now that he is trying to live a much better life. So that is my review. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate on your way out. Please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.